Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing episode 4 of the series Constellations. In episode 4, we're going to be talking all about the flood. So without further ado, let's get started. You know, if ever there was proof that the Earth isn't a sphere spinning in the nothingness of space, it is the biblical flood event. So let's take a look at the scripture regarding the flood and see what it has to say. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, on the 17th day of the month, on that day all the fountains of the great deep burst open, and the floodgates of the sky were open. The rain fell upon the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. Genesis 7:11 through 12. We see two interesting phrases in that passage. The phrases fountains of the deep and floodgates of the sky need to have special attention paid to them. The deep is the surface that God inscribed the circle of the earth into. And this passage of scripture indicates that the waters below that surface erupted from beneath the ground and played a part in flooding the earth. Next, we have the floodgates of the sky opening, and this is more than just rain. The term floodgates indicates a physical opening that took place to allow large amounts of water to pour down upon the face of the earth from the waters that are above the firmament. Looking back to our episode regarding the firmament, we can understand that the physical structure of the sky or heavens is called the firmament, and that it would have gates that could be opened. We also know, according to scripture, that there is water above the firmament. So naturally, it would make sense that if the gates in the firmament were open, that water would pour down. Now, in order to flood the entire earth, it would take more than just rain to do so. I mean, let's think about what rain is for just a moment. Rain is the water that is drawn into the clouds through evaporation. So even if all of the water on the earth were to be pulled up and rain back down, it would only be the same amount of water that was already present on earth. And that isn't enough to flood the whole earth, or else the earth would have already been flooded from the beginning. It took water from an external source, such as fountains of the great deep and the waters of the firmament, to reach the level of flooding recorded in the biblical account. 40 days the flood kept coming on the earth, and as the waters increased, they lifted the ark high above the earth. The waters rose and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the water. They rose greatly on the earth, and all the high mountains under the entire heavens were covered. The waters rose and covered the mountains to a depth of more than 15 cubits. Genesis 7:17 through 20. According to the previous passage of scripture, even the tallest mountains were completely submerged under water, and the water continued to rise above the tallest peaks by 15 cubits, which is approximately 22.5 feet. We know that Mount Hermon is approximately 9,232 feet tall. Now, I used Mount Hermon because it is the tallest mountain in that region that I'm aware of. So now, imagine 9,254.5 feet of water at a minimum, covering the entire surface of the earth. Now imagine that surface being a sphere. For years, Christians have understood and believed that there was a worldwide flood. However, what I can't wrap my head around is how they, myself included until a few years ago, believed it happened on a spherical planet spinning in space. How do you flood a ball? Seriously, how does a spherical shape flood on its surface? And the answer is that it doesn't. it can't, and physics come into play here, so stay with me. In order for water to be gathered, it requires a container, and we have understood this for thousands of years. So, an example, take a baseball and glue on various objects all over the ball to represent mountains. Now take that adorned baseball and hold it under the faucet until every item glued to it is completely submerged in water. No matter how long you hold it there, none of them will be submerged. Now, take a plate and glue it into a tub of some sort. Adorn the plate with the same objects to represent mountains. Begin to pour water into the tub until every object is completely submerged. And it won't take long before the entire thing is underwater, and the water will continue to rise above it. Now, that was a very simple demonstration, but effective.